I'm going to show you today how to swap between a 3D and a 2D lens on the Sony R320 projector, and then the setup to go through on the PJT to double check setup. Here's the 3D lens. We've got 4 bolts to remove. We're going to remove the bottom 2 bolts first, so we can control the removal of the projector, of the lens, I should say. Remove the bottom 2 first. One top one. Once we're down to 1, we want to support the weight of the lens a little bit. The lens comes in about 35 pounds. So get one loosened up. 4 screws removed. Wiggle the lens back and forth just a little bit. It'll work itself off the. Remember that there is about another 5 inches behind the lens that comes out of the projector, so be aware of that. And the 3D lens is removed. Now we'll put on the 2D lens. Install the 2D lens in the reverse procedure. There is a there will be a centering plate that will be installed on these 100 series lenses. It's right here that will automatically center the lens, so that you don't have to worry about trying to center the lens every time you put the 2D lens on. It gives you a reference for that center. So we're going to put the 2 upper bolts on first. And then we can go and put in the 2 lower bolts. Nice long Phillips screwdriver is a good tool to have to do this lens swapping procedure. Gives you a good angle for removing getting at the screws and removing the lens. So we'll tighten those all down. Like I said, there's going to be a lens centering adjustment plate that will be provided for the 100 series lenses, so that this swapping procedure can be made a lot quicker. Now with the 2D lens, there are connections for the 2D lens, for the memory and for zoom and for focus. So you have the memory and focus on the left side here. We want to make sure that we connect those connectors so that when we select our function control for the 2D, the lens will zoom and focus properly. So that is how we swap between the 2 lenses mechanically. Now we'll walk through the PJT setup for to check focus and centering. Here's a shot of the lens centering plate that is going to be installed on the 100 series lenses. What this plate is going to allow you is to have the center position already set for the lens. So when you replace the 2D lens, it will automatically be in the proper center for this particular auditorium. So you can see these 2 adjustment screws here. You loosen these up and then you can adjust the center. That will have been done before you go and replace the lens. So this is what the center adjustment plate. Don't loosen it up. Once it's mounted, you'll go back in the same center spot every time. Okay, now that we've changed from the 3D lens to the 2D lens, we need to change our projector type and our F functions to that 2D operation. So log in as you normally would into your PJT, and once you're logged in, we select Menu, Projector, Projector Type. We want to change this to 2D so that we can be in the projector knows that it's a 2D type. See, it's switched over to the 2D. Close this. Now we want to change our function, because we need to change our function into a 2D function as well. So we go Menu, Projector, Projector Control. We need to strike our lamp to be able to make this change. The lamp to strike. Once the lamp has struck, and a few moments later we should see this icon here come up. You can see that we're in 3D flat already, so we need to change that to 2D flatter scope depending on the feature that you want to show. Then once that lamp has struck, we will have this icon here will become available for us to change that function. So we go into change function, we find our 2D setting, 2D flat. For this particular one is F12. We'll select this. Then in a few moments we'll see that the projector will change from its 3D flat function to 2D flat. From that point, you're ready to play your 2D movie. If you want to check center and focus once the 2D lens is installed, you can simply go to Menu, Projector, Adjustment, Test Pattern. Now you can select for your center, depending on your scope or flat, select your flat. This will bring up your framing chart for flat, and this will allow you to check center. And if you want to check focus, you can use the crosshatch pattern, bring it up, and check focus as well. Once you're done checking both of those, you can make sure you turn off the test pattern, close this window, Menu, Shows, now Showing. You're now ready to show a 2D movie. I'm going to show you the reverse of taking the 2D lens off and reinstalling the 3D lens, and walking through the setup procedures for reinstalling the 3D lens. Once again, be sure that your electrical connections are removed on your 2D lens. I'm going to tear those off. Move the bottom 2 bolts first. This is before. Once we get down to the very last bolt, we're going to put a little bit of pressure on the lens, a little support. Then just gently back and forth, take the lens back and forth, and it'll slide right out. Be aware of the back part of the lens that's still in the projector, and that's the 2D lens removed. Reinstalling the 3D lens, being aware of the back part of the lens into the projector, right onto the mounting posts. Keep your hand underneath the bottom of the lens so you get in at least 1 bolt on the lens, upper bolt. Got 1 in, you can let that go. Run in on all 4 of our lenses, bolts here. And we want to make sure that these are snug down properly so that our focus and positioning is correct. And there's the lens mounted, 3D lens mounted back on the projector. Once the 3D lens is mounted back on the projector, now we need to go back and do the reverse of what I showed you before. We go to Menu, Projector, Projector Type. We want to change this to single 3D. Give that a second to change. Okay, now we can close out of that. Now we'll go back here, we'll go to Projector and Projector Control. And we want to change this from 2D flat to 3D. Flatter scope depending on your feature of your movie. So here we are at 3D flat, and we'll give that a few moments to change. You should see that change to 3D flat. My lamp is already on, so now what I can do is I want to check the settings of my filters of how the frame pattern comes through through the filters. So we go to Menu, Projector, Adjustment, Test Patterns, and we want to go to Frame Adjust. Select Frame Adjust, and that'll bring up our test pattern. Once you've changed the projector back into 3D mode, we want to bring up the 3D frame chart so that we can make sure that our filters, since the lens was probably in its box, the filters are put back into their original position. So to do that, we bring up the frame test pattern. We can loosen the thumb knobs here on both sides. We want to make sure that this image is centered and fills up about maybe with a ½ inch of space all the way around the image. So we want to center that on the filter and bring it out so it fills up that screen as much as possible. This particular setting is it's all the way out to its farthest point. And so I just want to make sure that that image is centered on that screen, like so. As long as I turn this the right way, tighten that down. And we want to repeat that for the left eye or the upper eye, the magenta. So we want to take that and adjust it out so that there's about a ½ inch space, the image on the filter. Bring that out to a level, and we snug that down. And that's how we set up the filters so that you get the proper spacing on the 3D filter. Okay, once you have properly set the 3D filters with your frame adjust, you want to double check your convergence using this pattern here, the convergence adjust. So we'll select it to convergence adjust, close. We want to go to image position. From this point here, there should be really no to minimal horizontal or vertical adjustment of your right eye. Normally you just adjust the right eye only when you're double checking for convergence and focus. I'll show you what the screen looks like with the convergence test pattern. Here's what your test pattern should look like when it's converged. This is the center crosshair of the convergence test pattern. As I zoom out here, you can see that this is the full test pattern, and this is what you're looking for when you have properly aligned and converged left and right eye. Once done, we can go back and turn off the test patterns, and you're ready to show a 3D feature. Now that you've checked your convergence, we want to back out of our convergence adjustment or position adjustment, close. We go back to test pattern and turn off our test pattern so that we can see our feature. Close. We go back to menu, shows, now showing. You're ready to show a 3D feature now.